All right, Keith, we're getting closer and closer to Dan Friedkin's official takeover of Everton. Bloomberg reported that Friedkin is in talks with JP Morgan about raising debt to restructure Everton's £660 million loans. What have you made of that?
Well, look, I think it's what every prudent owner would want to do would be to come in and lessen the debt burden on the club, reorganise the financing because I think a lot of it was at pretty high interest rates. But that's what somebody like Friedkin can do. So I'd expect him to have done that. That, along with the new revenue streams coming from the new stadium, should give Everton that freedom and that leeway to try and rebuild the squad and move things forward. So the two things combined of greater revenue, lesser costs, of course, always help in any business, and that's what I think he's trying to do, and it makes all the sense in the world for him to try and do that.
So basically, Friedkin would be working with JP Morgan in terms of kind of, raising this debt.
Well, yeah, what they'll do is that, I mean, there'll be probably about three or four loads of debt that he will have either adopted or taken on to get the takeover done. They will be restructuring that debt, probably putting it out over a longer period and hopefully at a much lower interest rate. Given his own credentials and the credit worthiness of the company, etc., and the new revenue streams coming in from Everton, I think they'll be able to get a fairly attractive rate in the marketplace. So overall, as I say, it smooths the whole situation, and Everton aren't under such debt pressure.
And Colin Chong has sent a letter to shareholders regarding the accounting treatment of Moshiri's loan. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw Colin's letter. It's really just saying basically that this was Mashiri's, situation was going to turn into equity anyway, which they've already indicated. So I don't think there's any great major news there. People that had looked at it had seen the same situation. We've got to see how the Premier League treat this issue though around the stadium interest. That's the one thing that's still outstanding that we've got to clear off with the Premier League. But overall, I'm still highly confident that things are moving in the right direction.
And Utah State Insurance Department has issued an order stating 3 of ACAP's 5 insurance companies must stop writing new business by the end of this year. Could that impact this Everton takeover? I know we've been waiting on some news from Leadenhall and ACAP.
Yeah, no, it's not really to do with that. The only thing that impacts the Everton situation will be the 777 situation, and I think that will be resolved either way. I'd always thought this was the fourth point that had to be cleared for Everton, but I still feel that even if it's not cleared up in time, Friedkin will go ahead anyway and resolve that even after a takeover. So I'm starting to feel even more bullish that things will happen in this either this week or next week, and I'm really hopeful that we're going to see something happening then, which would get us in before January, which is important, and the new executive team and Friedkin's advisors will have obviously have been convening, I think, already and having some thoughts about what they're going to do to hit the ground running. Some big decisions to make, though, in the short term.
And do you think that the Friedkin group is as overzealous, I guess, to get in before January as the fans are? Obviously, the fans want Friedkin in as soon as possible, hoping that he can actually put some funds into the club for the January transfer window. But do you think Friedkin and his group feel the same way?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think they want to get in because they know that some big decisions may have to be made in January regarding the squad, possibly the manager, and they're going to have to, get those decisions under their control because this club has got to stay in the Premier League this season with that new stadium opening. It's imperative. So they want to have their hands on the levers of power as soon as possible. I'm sure that they've been in this situation with Roma where they've had to make some pretty quick decisions before. They're now getting used to it, and I think that experience will stand them in good stead. But there's no doubt, I think, that they want to either, whether they stick with the present manager, Sean Dyche, and help improve the squad, or whether they feel there's a need for a change in management. We'll have to wait and see. There's schools of thought on both sides because stability can often be a big positive in terms of it, and Dyche has kept the club up the last 2 seasons. In the same way, there's a school of thought that a new manager bounce may work. So it's a big decision to make, but it's crucial because we've got to stay in that Premier League this season and give the club the best chance to do that.
And Lina Suluku set to be appointed the CEO of Atlantos Marinakis' group, of course. Is that a blow for Everton and a huge boost for Nottingham Forest? I know they were linked.
No, not really. I think, look, Lena worked for Marinakis before at Olympiakos, and so she's known to him for a long, long time. I think now that he's looking to expand into South America as well, I think that makes ultimate sense. I think it might have been a bit of a move for her to come to Everton. And I think I probably would have looked at having a chief executive who is more familiar with the club and English football. So I think it's okay. But listen, good luck to her. She's got a very good reputation. She's a very good operator. And I think this will suit her going back to somebody that she knows as an owner. And having worked with Marinakis and Olympiakos, she knows the way he can be somewhat volatile, I'm sure. So she obviously understands how to manage him.